G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildcard. Thank you for watching the Wildcard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe. And yes, you're here today because the November International Super Duper Autumn Nation Series has only got one game left, and that is between the mighty Wallabies against the #1 ranked team in the Northern Hemisphere, the Irish. And yeah, with that, the last week of Autumn Nations, there was a couple of interesting games, and overall there was a lot of tier 1 nations playing tier 2 nations, leading to some big results, I guess. And yeah, let's have a look at some of the results that happened on the weekend. So Ireland heading into this weekend's Wallabies, following a massive win, 52 points to 17 over Fiji. A lot of you guys are saying the referees was a little bit lackluster, but I still think that the Fijians have playing a style the way that Mick Byrne, the coach, is directing the team towards pretty much a Northern Hemisphere style of game with a lot of kind of like kicking. I think that's just not the way to go because you're playing into the style that the Irish plays, and you can't really fight rock with a stone, so to speak. And yeah, 52 points to 17 to a lot of disappointment. And the second game, Wales versus South Africa, as everybody was expecting, big blowout for the South Africans, 45 points to 12. Completely one-sided. There was probably about 4 or 5 missed tries for the South Africans. Could have been a lot worse. To everybody's disappointment, for a lot of the All Blacks fans, 29 points to 11. Again, this was the last game of the season. They had a long season. Maybe players wanted to just go home. There was a bit of controversy. We'll talk about it in a second, with TJ Perenara making a statement. I didn't know what that was at the beginning of the haka. I just thought I don't know what that was. And later on to find out that it was about some political stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, well, pretty lackluster performance. Italy was kind of like hanging in there for most part of the game, 11 points to 29. And the All Blacks was, really wasn't performing to a lot of silly mistakes left and right. Wasn't performing to everybody's likings. And next up, we've got, I guess, the big game of the weekend, 27 points to 13 to Scotland over the Wallabies. This was I thought that Scotland probably could have blown out the Wallabies with more points. The Wallabies probably had an opportunity to potentially to snag themselves a bit of an upset. But yeah, Tate McDermott kicking the ball away, after a magnificent line, chip and chase sort of thing from Jorgensen was really, kind of blown out the opportunity there. And I guess finally the England completely blowing out Japan, 59 points to 14. Eddie Jones not happy. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Completely one-sided, and some interesting story come out of that one with Eddie Jones there as well. I guess a big upset here. Not a big upset. I guess a big win here for Georgia over Tonga, 22 points to 7. I saw that kind of just happened later on in the week. And this is actually the next week's one. So is this next one? Anyway, with that being said, with all the rankings, nothing was changed following the results. Not many up. Really wasn't much upset. Australia, if they had been Scotland, would have moved up quite a little bit. But wasn't the case. And or if Italy had upset in the All Blacks, would have been massive move there. But none of that came to fruition. And yeah, with that being said, let's move to South Africa. Rassie Erasmus is in hospital. Nothing too serious. He's having he has been in hospital like in the past with had some burn or something, chemical burn, but nothing like that this time. He had a bit of a shoulder operation, so I'm guessing probably just from maybe he tweaked his shoulder or something during training with the Springboks. He likes, if you watch some of the videos of Rassie in training, he likes to get himself involved. He gets into the rocks and he G's up the teammates, gets a bit physical. Maybe something like that happened in training. Maybe tweaked his shoulder, going to have a bit of an operation and spending some time over the hospital over the weekend. Yeah, with that being said, the Springboks has also confirmed there's some of the home fixtures for next year. Very lackluster July Test series, to be frank with you. 2 tests against Italy and 1 against Georgia. They will be hosting the Wallabies to the Rugby Championship in Argentina. And that'll be interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll save out a few bucks to go for that one. I don't know if I want to do that, but anyway. So yeah, I think the Italy one is pretty surprising. Surely you will, the world champions, you will put Scotland in there. I mean, when was the last time Scotland visited South Africa? I thought it was last last year, this year as well. Scotland in July went to America, so they put, I thought maybe this would have been an opportunity for Scotland to be heading to South Africa for a few games there. Yeah, a little bit disappointing there to see that schedule. And yeah, anyway, with that being said, England rugby is having a bit of a row at the moment. The CEO, Bill Sweeney, looks like a Bond villain, as you can see right here, has walked away with the highest paid package in England at the moment. So he has, and it's been caused a lot of disappointment and a lot of backlash from the public. So there was people getting let go. England RFU making a record loss, £37.9 million. And despite the big loss, Bill Sweeney walked away with a massive bonus, and on top of his huge base salary of £1.1 million this year. So a lot of people were not happy, and there was also redundancy being made in the camp. There was unions going bust, going bankrupt over the last season as well, like the Warriors, the Wasps, London Irish, and how is a CEO walking away with a bonus on top of that is just completely unacceptable. I think it's the way that there probably should be like some a corruption investigation into this. Maybe not corruption, but what do you call it? The board of directors potentially needs to be looked at, because if they're not independent, if they're part of I don't know what's going on in there. There's some someone needs to look at the how the board of directors are selected, leading into this sort of stuff. So basically, the RFU explained this as that there was £358,000 of bonus paid to Sweeney as a part of his post-COVID bonus that was agreed a year ago. So basically, that's like back pay, and then his base salary is £742,000, which is an 8.5% increase from the previous year, as planned by the previous. How do you get 8.5% increase in your salary for doing such a terrible job? It's beyond my comprehension. That in itself is a big red flag. So the bonus package as well. How could you have a bonus package post COVID when the union was struggling during COVID, right? It makes no sense. So there was basically saying back pay that was left over from COVID. And yeah, this has left Sweeney, like it or not, the highest paid CEO in all of, all of England sport, I guess. And there was, obviously there was questions about the targets that he met to get these performances. So every CEO has targets. Some of the targets include like participation for rugby. And then one of the target that allegedly was that instead of the win rate for England rugby, they have combined England men and women's win rate together. And we know that England women's team is like the best in the world by a long range. So despite the lackluster performance by England's men's team, the overall percentage winning for the men and women combined was still not bad. And Sweeney got his approval, ticked off his performance review because of that as well. And there was some questions as to the people that kind of like what do they call it? There was like a committee that looks after these packages, which included these people: Yasmin Diamond, Phil de Glansville, and Tom Ilub. And these are the kind of like people that agree to the package. So yeah, the remuneration committee, and people are basically like saying there probably needs to be a look at the people that are in this committee who are ready to see whether they're actually independent of their decision or maybe they might be somewhat involved. Yeah, they might not be. What do they call it? There might be some issues with their decision making there as to maybe in fact England Rugby don't release the requirements for his bonus, so it could just be anything. It could literally be like no requirements, and they're just coming out and saying some bullshit like, oh, he met his requirement, right? Some very low bar for him to clear. Despite losing huge amounts of money, he still gets his bonus, which is quite absurd. And then this is this is in fact even more absurd if you look at how comparing with other CEOs that gets paid, gets paid the football, which is a much bigger, the English Premier League is a much bigger, much more profitable, probably one of the most successful, if not the most successful sporting league in the entire world. The CEO there, Mark Bullingham, only gets £850,000. So Sweeney gets more than that and running an absolute horrendous league union. In addition, he gets more money than the CEO of probably the most successful league in the world. There was some outliers in the past for cricket, but yeah, still it's quite absurd to a lot of people's opinion. Yeah. So yeah, going to the game this weekend in Lansdowne Road. It's gonna be there's gonna a few injuries for Ireland team, so it's looking a little bit good for the Wallabies, potentially sneaking for an upset. Jamie Obst-Swan, Jacob Stockdale, Ty Furlong, and Ryan Baird had all been ruled out. I guess Ty Furlong is one that's had already had a bit of injury. Stockdale wasn't really much of a feature to the team, and then Jamie Osborne has been coming off the bench, so it's not crazy loss for the Irish team. Ryan Baird is someone that can fill in as well, not irreplaceable, so not crazy loss other than Ty Furlong. But Ireland has been managing without Furlong anyway, so but still, yeah, it's still not the potentially the strongest possible Ireland team we'll be seeing this weekend because of these injuries. And for the Wallabies, the big update, as we talked about after the game as well, Swart Lee is probably going to be fine. A bit of a stinger. They just, the management further confirmed that he's going to be monitored. Nothing too serious is currently confirmed. Jeremy Williams, who was announced in the team last week, has been left out due to an illness. Will be playing. But one thing, I think Matt Fazler is another guy that potentially will be returning as well. He was also named last week, but not playing, probably due to an injury, due to an illness as well. And yeah. So yeah, let's move on to the All Blacks, a controversial haka by TJ. So this is something I don't understand. I'm not from Kiwi. So basically, there is a very controversial bill that's being pushed through, that wants to. So basically, based on my understanding as well, just I don't want to get in too much into it, but just quick recap. So when the British kind of like invaded New Zealand, there was a peace treaty, and the treaty has some interpretation of the law of some of the treaty. Apparently, when it was signed, like for the British part, it said like the land belongs to the Queen. There's no sovereignty, and then the translated version to the Maori chiefs was like, you guys have sovereignty. So there was a big sort of there was a big issue after that, and it was kind of like all settled on like on an interpretation of the treaty that currently sits that some of the Maoris have the sovereignty to manage their own. Essentially, it have the sovereignty to manage some of their own things, which means that they can do things that I guess you can say that can do certain things that as a sovereign nation could do, like independent of everybody. Yeah, they can have some say in the way that I guess in certain things. I'm not sure what, but yeah, they can have some certain say to certain things. And basically, this one party came out. This party called ACT came out and said, yeah, the Maori leaders shouldn't be allowed to have that special sovereignty, and that all New Zealand citizens should be like equal. So it's under the name of equality, essentially, they're trying to reinterpret, right? They're basically using the banner saying, oh, we're going for equality, we're going for everybody being the same, but they're actually trying to reinterpret the treaty and try to remove some of that sovereignty rights that was given to the Maori leaders. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts. And essentially, TJ Perenara did haka denouncing this bill, which is called the what do they call it? The treaty. No, that's the treaty between the Queen. The bill is called what do they call it? Basically the bill to change the treaty that basically came out to set no to it. What do they call it? I should have it highlighted. Oh yeah, the Treaty of. No, this was the treaty. Where's the bill? What's the name of the bill? Oh yeah, the Treaty of Principle Bill. So that's the one that many people believed is under the disguise of equality. Oh, let's make sure everybody's treated the same. But in reality, is that to remove the sovereignty powers that was kind of like fought hard for the Maori by the Maori tribes from the British to reinterpret that and try to take some of the sovereignty abilities back from them. So yeah, that's pretty much what that was, and I have no opinion. I think it's up to the people to decide. But I do think that you guys know me. I do think that politics should be staying out of sport, regardless what it is. You feel free to 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 have your opinion, but I just think you should not be bringing that into sport because it's not real. Yeah, in my personal, I don't care what it is. It's just not really what I just don't think that's something that you just end up in a situation where everybody's starting to get too woke. I just think that it's better to just hard line, no politics in sport, and just leave it by that, right? So there was obviously the All Blacks performance hasn't been great in recent years. There's a couple of different camps. There's one camp saying that they should bring people back from overseas, allowing players like Richie Mo'unga to play for the All Blacks. John Kerwin has come out and said basically the sabbatical system is one of the reasons why it hasn't performing, and it's probably going to get scrapped soon. So sabbatical system is basically you have players like Beauden Barrett, and Sam Kang and Adi Savea as well, and probably more. They went overseas for like a one season in Japan to play for some extra money while still under contract in New Zealand. So they're still signed to the All Blacks and can play for the All Blacks, but the season they don't play in Super Rugby. They go play overseas and earn that extra money. That system is John Cohen thinks that's the system is letting down this consistency of the team and getting people, and they're going to call an end to that. And there's obviously people talking about changing eligibility rules, allowing players like Richie Mo'unga to come back, and this has led to a bit of a disagreement from former World Cup winner Stephen Donald. I think that one thing I do agree with Stephen Donald is there's one quality that the All Blacks needs to have. It's called sacrifice. He talked about how Damien McKenzie and Beauden Barrett had made big sacrifice for the jersey, and the quality of sacrifice means that you have to stay in New Zealand. And if you don't have that quality, it doesn't matter how good you are. That should just eliminate you immediately from being able to select it for the All Blacks, in my opinion, because that's one of the core backbone, respect and sacrifice for the black jersey. It's the core, culture of the All Blacks. And if you don't have that in you, if you go overseas for the extra money, kind of same line as John Cohen's talking about the sabbatical. If you don't have that mentality to do everything it takes to make the black jersey better than when you put it on, you should not be qualified for the black jersey in the first place. That's my opinion. I think that Stephen Donald saying that, that should be. He had a bit of a rant about that, but I think the eligibility rules, change it or not, it doesn't matter. The fact that these qualities needs to be maintained. This is really important for the culture of the All Blacks. So one of the former successful coaches for the All Blacks has returned to the Crusaders, and that is Brad Moore. He was, the Crusaders during the heydays in 2015, 2019. He was under Ian Foster for a little bit, and then he went overseas to Scotland, and then he went to for Argentina as well this year. He's ended his term with Argentina and decided to come back to the Crusaders in that regard. The most successful coach for the Blues rugby history, I guess, Vern Cotter has re-signed with the Blues. I think he was so good. I thought they could probably have him somewhat involved in the All Blacks setup. It was the Blues was absolutely one-sided dominance throughout the whole season. A very simple game plan as well. It's just the creativity of the coaching. It's not like something that's crazy, surprising strategies, but it's just he has identified the strength of the Blues 4-pack and then just played around that, built a very successful strategy for the season. So yes, the Rugby Players of the Year award has come out. Not too many surprises. The couple of surprises here I might have to talk about. So the Breakthrough Player of the Year, Wallace Atiti. I thought this was pretty good selection. I really can't argue too much about that. I thought Wallace Atiti probably deserved it as well. Maybe Joseph Swali, right? Other than that, Joseph Swali, but no, he wasn't even nominated. Jokes aside. So the one thing I had a bit of issue with is the men's 15 Dream Team of the Year. So for fullbacks, 15, Will Jordan. Okay, I'll probably I'll give that a pass. Cheslin Kobe, number 14. I'll give that a pass as well. Number 13, Jesse Krill. Number 12, Damien Delenda, 100%. These two. James Lowe at number 11. I thought there's quite a number of better wingers out there. I guess you could argue that I thought Bieri could potentially be there, but I think he plays 14. Does he play 14? But yeah, maybe if you strictly say someone was only exclusively the 11 jersey, maybe James Lowe. But if you just look at generally as a winger, I thought Bieri probably a better selection here at 11. There might be a couple better ones here as well. In addition to James Lowe, and that's one a bit of a question mark there. Another massive question mark is Damien McKenzie at 10. Marcus Smith should be at 10, I thought. And even if you don't argue Marcus Smith, Finn Russell, Marcus Smith, both ranked higher than Damien McKenzie as a fly half. I just don't see how they came up to the conclusion of Damien McKenzie at 10. He hardly got much time in the starting position at all. He was on the bench for the most part for like half the season, not the most part, for half the season. So yeah, don't really know that one. Number 9, Jameson Gibson Parks. Again, why is Anton Dupont not here? Because he hasn't played in Six Nations. I guess you could argue that. But even without Anton Dupont, I thought, I think Gibson Parks probably okay at number 9, but I thought maybe, I guess you could say Roygaard hasn't played that much for the All Blacks. But anyway, I guess that's fine. James Gibson Parks, Ox Nche, short, 100%. Malcolm Marks, number 2, short. Tyra Lomax at tight head prop. I can go with that as well. Eben Nesbitt, number 4. Ty Burn, number 5. Okay, I can give you that. Number 6, Pablo Matera, 100%. He has been absolutely outstanding. Peter Dutoy, 100%. Number 7. Kalen Doris, number 8. Another one you could probably argue is Adi Savea, maybe. I guess Doris probably the best number 8. I thought Ben Earl was quite good, but his performances for England lacked a little bit in November. So sure, Kalen Doris. Player of the year, Peter Dutoy, 100% correct. I predicted that he might win this one, and sure enough, he has been outstanding, absolutely outstanding for the Springboks. He has been selected ahead of Kalen Doris, Eben Nesbitt, and what's his name, Cheslin Kobe. I thought, definitely better than the other ones by quite a bit. Player of the 7th tournament, Anton Dupont, as predicted as well. So yeah, no surprises there. Moving on, the Eddie Jones was at Twickenham on the weekend. England versus Japan, flogged, and he's building towards the future, guys. And he got sprayed at halftime. Apparently, he came out. Allegedly, someone sprayed him. He wasn't. Probably called him a traitor. Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good, traitor. So in case you don't know, he was called a traitor when he was coaching England here in Australia a few years ago. He wasn't happy. He was not happy. So hopefully one of the England fans called him a traitor as well. would have been poetic. Would have been so good. So he wasn't happy about that. So yeah, Eddie Jones, he missed out the pre-game media because of illness apparently. And after the game, he's telling there was he's basically there's some he's gonna be fine. There's some media saying that he's gonna be under pressure from his boss in Japan. Hardly doubt that the Japan chairman is good mate with Eddie Jones, old mate with Eddie Jones. He's not gonna go anywhere. Eddie Jones, his job is quite safe despite this floggings. Building towards the future, guys. Yeah, 40 points getting flogged by England. That's just how we go. Yeah, you getting beaten by 50 points. How we learn, guys. Yeah, it's like if you want to play chess, right? You go play against the Grandmaster and get flogged in about 20 moves. That's not really the way you're gonna learn anything about playing chess. But hey, according to Eddie Jones, that's the best way, guys. That's the best way. Yeah, that's the best way to learn. So just final bit of a news. Wales, Union also suffered big losses this year, less than the England rugby actually. England had like what 32 million pounds. This is only 7.5 million pounds losses, but it is increased from the year before, 2.7 million. The revenue has increased, which is good, 97.9 million to 102.7 million. And yeah, the profit has been lost as well, reduced a bit. So the margins has reduced. So there's a lot of inefficiencies in the Welsh unit. I'm sure there was probably some shuffling around. But again, this internal management issues in Wales rugby that needs to be addressed and looked at. And there was reports last year of sexism and all that sort of stuff. That the Welsh rugby unit needs to tidy that up as well. So, but yeah, not too bad, not as bad as England. And Liam Williams has returned to, I guess, in Europe to play for the Saracens. They have signed Liam Williams, and finally the Jet Halloway. He's going to the America at the end of the year, but currently he's got a bit of a gig in Leinster under Michael Cheika to play a little bit in the Premiership before heading over to Major League Rugby in San Diego. So yeah, bit of extra money there from Old Mate Checks to Jet Halloway. And yeah, that's the news this week, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will be doing a preview for the game between the Wallabies and the #1 ranked team in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the preview. Cheers.